All right, folks, we're about to be live here. Camera mounted up. Perfect view. Perfect. Good view of what I'm doing. Can you see everything? Yeah, pretty much. Back this up just a little. All right. I'm using my old grandpa's vice. Gonna wait just one more minute. Sorry, you guys on Facebook. I can only hook the mic up to one phone at a time, so if you don't hear me as good as YouTube, so be it, man. Ain't nothing I can do about it at the moment. We need one more thing over here that I didn't grab, and that a JIS screwdriver. Okay, are we at the 12:02 mark? Because that's when I got the live set up. Close enough. Fuck it. We're live. All right. What we got going on here was, if you watched my live from last night, you should have had it over here to show you, but I didn't. This master cylinder is no bueno, and I literally found a clone. It's chromed. It's a clone of this Nissan for seriously $10 cheaper than a rebuild kit. So this is how we do this. We went ahead and ordered the clone from Evil Bay, eBay, whatever you want to call it. I call it Evil Bay because I tend to spend too much money on that motherfucker. Let's get you a little more light. And I'm also killing time, hoping somebody will jump up in here. Live chat probably ain't happening, folks. I'm working on something, so camera's way up here where I can't really see shit from it, so no point in me responding to live chat. Little extra light on the subject for y'all so you can see better. All right, now we established yesterday brakes aren't shot in this. Shot, like they're not steel to steel, but they're beat. You need new brakes, basically. If you look right here, you can see how funky and scrungy that is. Okay. Look at the inside pad. It's worn a lot thinner. When you put thicker pads in here, new pads, you're going to force this piston. And you all see this. Okay. You're going to force this piston further back into the pot. Okay. Well, with all that goopy, rusty dirt and crust built up on there from road grit from years and a little rust, that could get hung up in there and cause your brakes to hang up. We do not want that on a front brake, period. A rear wheel locked up because of this, well, you're probably still going to crash, but you may be able to work your way out of it and lay the bike down. A front end locking up is a bad, nasty crash. We don't want that. What we're going to do, we are going to break this Tokico caliper down. We're going to pull the pistons out. We're going to clean it. And I'm going to show you an old school technique where you can do this on the bike if you don't have an air compressor. Okay. Generally, when you bust these open to take them apart, you're going to take your brake line off and just hit it with compressed air and pop, pop, the pistons will pop out. Sometimes they don't. And sometimes you got to grab on them pretty roughly with vice grips or something of the like, and you mar up this surface. Well, this surface runs on a rubber seal. So if you've got it all marred up from pliers, obviously you know what's going to happen to the seal. We don't fucking want that, right? I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. I'm not doing it on a bike, dude. My back hurts today, so I pulled this whole unit off, brought it over to the workbench, and I'm going to show you how to tear one of these down. We have aftermarket brake master cylinder. It's just a piece of crap from China and fits dirt bikes or whatever. It won't fit the bike. And it's going to be a pain in the ass to do it on the bike, so we're going to do it here. And yesterday when I had mentioned why I was putting dirty used fluid in this is why. All the fluid that we're going to use today to do this is going to be wasted. We're going to use hydraulic pressure to pop these pistons out because it works better than air pressure. It does. We're going to clean this whole system and inspect it. So we don't care. We're being as frugal as we can. We're not going to waste good fluid when it's all going to go in a pan and go into the waste barrel anyway. That's why the person that made the comment about, oh, it's contaminated, it's stuff floating in it. That's why we keep shit like this. For a situation just like this, you only need it to work once. All you need to do is pop this apart. Then we're going to clean and flush the whole system. So let's get into this. Simple enough to get brake pads out. You got this pin here that floats freely. Now on some bikes, some years of these Tokicos, on the threaded side here, well, excuse me, this side here will be threaded. On this one, it just pulls out. So pull it out and you'll see a little hole where there should be a cotter pin. Well, there is no cotter pin. That's sign number one that somebody's been in here and didn't put it back together right. So we got to put a cotter pin in this, so we put it back together. Mental note, I can go back to the video and watch. It's another reason why I do this. Pull that off, lay it to the side. Take your brake, fold it up like that, slide it all the way out, lay it to the side. Take this side, same deal. Pop it right out. These are not the worst that I have ever seen, but yeah, they got corrosion on them, so we're going to address it. Get these damn spider webs out here. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to lay this in here for now, and we're going to gently clamp this in a vise so that it's easier to work with. We don't need it super tight. We just need it to hold it because, you know, there's not a set of handlebars here. Because my back hurts and we're doing this on a bench instead of in a vise. Ensure that our brake line is good and tight. Dig out the proper size JIS screwdriver. I need to grab a little magnetic tray. I'll be right back. How many times I bring these things up? They're cheap. They're indispensable. Every time you're in Harbor Freight, buy one or two of them, dude. Have 10 of them. Make your life easier. All right. Pop these screws out of the reservoir. Who's bugging me? I don't know. I don't care. Don't bug me. I'm live, fools. I'm running two phones right now. We got YouTube over here and Facebook over here. Okay. Let's give this a little bit. We don't want to crack the housing. We only need this on there just to hold it for us so that we can work the lever. Okay, remove this. Let me grab a wee funnel so I'm not making that much of a mess on my workbench. This will work. Extra rag. And like I said, this is only to make this work one more time, and then we're going to flush the entire system. So we are using shitty old dirty brake fluid that when I do a brake job on a car, bike, truck, anything like that, this is the jar that the brake fluid bleeds into. And this is, you know, why I keep this around flushing systems and that. Instead of throwing it away, I keep just a little bit for situations like this. Or if I got a real bad leak somewhere in a brake system, like in a car, you know, you're going to piss out a ton of fluid because you got a broken line. You got to figure out where it's at. Instead of wasting new fluid, You use that nasty old shit because you're going to leak it out anyway and then flush the system. So what's the point of using the new? You feel me? That's why we keep stuff like that around. The bleeder cracked. I had to take the brake hose off of this to get it off the bike all the way. So sorry, folks, my back just ain't having it today. It's just not. We're not doing this on the bike. Back hurts too much. It'll take a second to get the air out of the line and get it to pumping. Open the bleeder all the way. Line loose. And this is a booger. Once you get air in the system, she wants to fight. Okay. Let me get all the air out of the line. Okay. She wants to go that way, she can go that way for all intents and purposes. Okay, we still got some air in the line. What we're gonna do now, take this old C-clamp, give her something like that just so that the caliper has something to bite onto. We need another one of them to make this work. Go ahead and push these in. All right, you see what I got going on? I'm basically holding these pistons in place with C-clamps, just so that we can purge the air out of the system and use hydraulic pressure to force those pistons out of their holes. As I spill fluid everywhere, that was unwanted. Cardboard time. All right. Okay, so right there, we got pressure. We're going to leave the top off of this so that it can be refilled, because we're going to use up a lot of fluid doing this, filling both of those to capacity, essentially. Let's start with the first one. Go ahead and loosen this up. Now, I do want it to be in there because I don't want this to pop out all the way. Hopefully the camera is picking that up. You see that piston right there is moving out. How it's tightening up on the clamp. That's pushing that piston right out for you. Now the other one's not going to move because I got a clamp holding it tight. Pardon me. Somebody stepped on a duck. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and loosen this side. Just a little bit. We're going to do it a little bit at a time. Hopefully you guys can see this. You see them pistons popping themselves out? Like butter, baby. You can do this with air pressure, right? If you got an air compressor. What if you don't got an air compressor and you're working on your bike in your backyard because that's what you do? That's what you got, right? That's what this video is for. To show folks there is another way of doing this if you don't have a compressor and a shop and yada, yada, yada. And we're going to loosen this side a little more. I'm going to use, once again, that hydraulic pressure. See how that side's moving and the other ain't? It's so much easier. There's no fussing, fighting. No marring things up with pliers. You don't have to try to use soft jaws on your pliers or anything like that. It does waste a little brake fluid. But, as I stated in my last video, that is why I keep skunky old shitty brake fluid around like this. Situations where you're going to waste it. Brake fluid's not the most expensive thing in the world, but it costs money. Why not get the most for your money, right? held up so you can see it. Oh, this side's ready to come out. Okay, that one's ready. I don't see how it's wiggling. She's almost ready to come all the way out. So we're going to go ahead and just put just a little pressure on it so that we can get this side to pop a little more. Because I want them as far out of them bores as I can before I try to grab on them and pull them out. That way, hopefully, I can just do it with my fingers or with light pressure on pliers, and I'm not going to mar the surface. Okay, you're going to back off on your clamp, pump your master cylinder. See, she's starting to wiggle. The other side's already out. It's piston fluid. So that's about as far as you're going to get it that way. I have seen these things be buried in there badly and stuck in there badly, so I have really had to fight to get these out in the past. This one was not quite that case because it's not that bad, but it's a prime example as far as making a video goes. Let's go ahead and cap this off so that we don't make any more mess than we have. And I need to grab another pan to put that in to try to preserve some mess. I'm sure I got one over here. Yep, this will work. Yeah, this will work just fine. Just set it there for now. I'm going to go ahead and pop our brake line off. And for all intents and purposes on what we're doing, we're just going to get that started in there so we don't lose it. We're going to need the vise for the next couple of steps, so let's get things switched around a little bit. Get this over here out of the way in a place where fluid can do what fluid does and make a fucking mess without making a mess on my floor. Cap that off. Hands and part a quick wipe. All right, see how far these guys came out? They're almost out completely. This one was pissing fluid out around it, so hopefully I can just, yep, there you go. Right out with my fingers. Did not need to use pliers, did not mar the surface. Yep, same with this guy too. All right, now the main focus on what this part does, which, like, dude, this is like a video for newer guys that have never messed with this. Okay, I'm trying to teach you guys something. If you know what I'm doing already, then just make fun of me like you already do. But you see on there, this surface here, actually, I got a way I can show you this perfectly, what's going on. Grab my dial calipers and I'll show you something. Okay, this is the bore here. Oh me, oh my, this seal's bad. Uh-oh, buddy, I might have to order you a rebuild kit for this still. I don't like the way that seal looks at all. It don't look good. Anyways, this fits down inside this bore, like such. There's an inner seal and an outer. This is just like a dust seal. This seal down inside here is the one that does all the work, okay? Down inside here, there's a hole. When you pump that brake fluid up, the pressure from that brake fluid coming in that hole surrounds this thing. When it gets to that inner seal, air will compress, fluid won't. The fluid pushes this out, which pushes your brake pad out against your rotor. Okay. Well, this little part of it, as it wears, you know, more fluid's building up back there because the pad's thinner. So this little part's hanging out here in the breeze. Well, what's going to happen with road grit, water? This is metal. This is going to rust. I dig it. It's not the most precision measuring tool, but much more than an eyeball and a ruler, right? We have got 1 inch and 185 thousandths, give or take, 187, give or take. Now, if I move over here to where the rust is, look at that. It's almost 2 inches. It's almost 1 inch 200. Get around a couple different spots here. 1 inch 205. So that little bit of difference sometimes can hang you up in there. And this is just the simplest fix with these. This one's way worse here. And as you can see, this white crap in here, that's what was all through all through the master cylinder, causing it, you know, basically be foobar. But looking down inside here, one dust seal's not in a great shape. It's still somewhat serviceable. But we don't look too bad inside here, so that's a good thing. We've been in it, we've seen it. So we're going to get this out of the way. And the main thing is, as you've seen, this is running on a rubber seal inside. So you kind of need to have this smooth, okay? It doesn't have to be highly polished, but you're kind of going to need it smooth so it doesn't mar up that seal. And that rust that made this metal swell and grow because of the coating rust, that's got to go. What we're going to do here, gentle. We don't want to mar anything up. We just need to hold it. It's slightly remedial on it, but we're going to use a very gentle touch with a wire wheel and just take some of that rust off. I've seen them. I've had them. Like if you watch my Facebook Live videos, I did one on a Goldwing that I literally was outside with sandpaper for an hour sanding it so that I could do what I had to do. Because I was not buying a new one because that like was a turd and I just needed to make it run and be useful. Switch to the safety shit. I mean, I wear glasses, but these are like $2 a pair, so if they get scratched up, so be it. Real gentle. We don't have to go nuts. We just clean that shit off of there. This one wasn't really bad, so that's all you really got to do. We're not taking any metal off this way. We're not changing the size. We're just kind of cleaning and polishing it. So that when we put our new brake pads in, this gets jammed in all the way, this smooth surface is what's going to be touching your seal instead of this. And it's not going to kill your brake caliper and cause you problems. That was smart. I don't see a lot of wear on this. This bike's actually not in bad shape. It just sat outside under some trees for like 3 seasons. Homeboy bought himself a brand new ride, and they didn't want to give him nothing for trade-in on this bike, so he just parked it. And honestly, the Marauder series is pretty cool. Like, it's got inverted forks on it. It's got some neat looking kind of saw blade aluminum wheels. Like, it's a pretty cool fucking bike. They made them. You don't see them out there that often. And it's essentially the same engine that's in Suzuki's Intruder 800. Kind of looked like a chopper style bike, you know, from the 70s. You know, all the metric bikes always clone different shit. And that's kind of what they did. But that engine was designed in a time where they worried more about performance than the thing sounded like a Harley when it idled. So it's a dual crank pin engine. It spins fast, and they actually produce a decent bit of power. Like it punches way above its weight as far as at the time, this was considered a mid-size. Now it'd be considered a small, but a mid-size metric cruiser. I want to say they run like 50 horsepower, which that's 1,200 Harley Sportster output. To build that horsepower at about 8,000, 9,000 RPMs, you got to scream it. But it's designed to do that all day long. Doesn't sound as cool, but honestly, this bike don't sound bad with the pipes that are on it. There's like no aftermarket for them. So what you got is what you got. But if you get a chance to come across one of these, you know, usually they'll sell cheap. Folks will buy something like that and learn to ride on it, and then all of a sudden I got to have a Harley. So they'll sell it cheap and buy a Harley Sportster, and they'll finance a new Harley. You can pick up a bike like that for something like this that's got a bunch of issues. I've seen it go as low as $500. A clean, nice one, $1,500 to $2,000. And you got a hell of a bike. I'm a big dude. I'm like 285 pounds. That thing will pull me around like nothing. And it's small, but it's physically big enough for me to ride. That was my issue with a Harley Sportster. Plenty of power to pull me, physically too small and uncomfortable. That's a little bit bigger than a Sportster. This is a decent bike. If you see one of these things used, you're in the market, you ain't got a lot of money to spend. Dude, you really can't go wrong with that. The carbs might be a little bit of a booger to rebuild. I don't think we have to on this. But honestly, this is an awesome bike for somebody starting out and getting into this kind of stuff that I do. You know, taking these older bikes and, you know, without a lot of money, making them up and go and be useful again. This is a really good project for that. I mean, if you're the kind of person that has to have a Harley Davidson or nothing, then yeah, you're not going to like it. Don't waste your time, I guess. But if you're like me, like I like my Harley Davidsons. You know what I like more? I like riding motorcycles. Back when I couldn't afford a nice Harley, this is the kind of stuff I messed with. Kawasaki 750 Vulcan, Honda Shadows, old beat up Gold Wings, Honda CB 750s, 350s, CB 550s. I'd get them for next to nothing, get them up and running, ride them, enjoy them. Usually sell them for more than I bought them for because they were running properly. Trying to profit, buy a nicer bike. See what I'm saying? Nowadays, I don't really need to do that. I've got what I want as far as motorcycles, the years that I want, the models that I want. So I do this to help folks. Hopefully teach them something. Clean these guys up real good. Okay. Looks like new. We didn't even really have to take sandpaper to it. All right, let me get my regular glasses on so I can see what I'm doing a little better here. I wear bifocals. They're seamless, so you can't tell, but and I definitely need them. Get it up close to you. As you can see, there's still some pitting in this. When you run your fingers, it's not catching your fingernail. And it's not bad. So this is 100% reusable. And same with this. And that's literally all it took. Maybe right there. Yep, that'll catch. We'll see if we can wire wheel that off. I didn't see that because I didn't have my glasses. Safety glasses. I was hoping I didn't have to get to the sandpaper on this. And you can see the wear marks. Obviously, there's more wear further back here. I would need a micrometer to measure to show you how much, but it's very minute. But it feels smooth, so it's not going to booger up that seal inside the caliper. This is 100% reusable and ready to go. And it was that simple. I promise you, if you would have put brand new brake pads of the proper thickness, used your clamp, shoved those back in, first time you hit your brakes, it would have worked, it would have stopped, and then your bike would have stuck and your front wheel would have been dragging because of that buildup on there. And as you see, it literally took, just a few minutes to pull that caliper apart, pull that piece out, clean them properly. Now we're going to get to inspecting this guy. The seal that came out, I put it back in its place, and it actually feels okay. And this part here is mainly a dust seal. The seal that matters is down inside here. I don't know how well that camera's picking up the light, but I'm looking at it. I don't see any tears, nicks, and it doesn't appear worn. Go out on a limb and say we can reuse this. Yeah, let's say we can reuse this without a doubt. All right. And also, I'm going to give this just a bit of a scrub-a-dub. I tried to lay out all my tools and shit and be a little more professional this time. But sometimes you miss a thing or two, like your handy-dandy scrub brush and some solvent. I'm running low on brake parts cleaner, so I've got a full can of Carpetator cleaner, and this is solvent. It will work just fine to clean this up. Let me dump this pan out. Just make that a little bit easier to deal with. Get most of the crap out of it, because we're going to clean this up completely and then reassemble it. And I kind of like to have as cleanish of an area as I can to do that in, because you really don't want dirt in this system. This is when it gets a little more important, you know what I mean? Like I said earlier in this video about using the used crappy old dirty brake fluid and why we don't care, we're going to run it through the system. This is when it gets real. This is when you take your time and you clean her up good. Don't you fall in there. All right. Do a quick wipe of this, because that pan was full of all kinds of garbage from just being used as a catch-all, brake fluid, oil, all kinds of shite. So let's give it a quick clean up like such. And it's going to be full of more shite, but before we add to the mix, you see what I'm saying? And before we get to spraying cleaners that burn the shit out of my eyes, we're going to change her up with some safety glasses. Okay. Should be plenty. Like I said, we're not going nuts. But we're also going to inspect this whole ass thing. And, well, that dirt and grime might be hiding a crack or something that I just can't see because it's covered in brake dust and dirt and grime. Right, at this point, we're going to remove our bleeder. And we're going to remove our banjo bolt. Because now that we get it generally clean-ish, now is when we get out the stinky get-high stuff, because you breathe this shit, boy, it'll get you a buzz, let me tell you. Yeah, get it flushed down through there like that. Carbon choke cleaner is a real good solvent, and it'll do what you need it to do. But what it doesn't do as well as good old-fashioned brake clean is it doesn't quite remove oil as quickly. Like regular old brake clean like this, just like instantly dissipates oil and water. It's excellent at that. Damn, African barking spiders in this motherfucker. Pardon me. Okay. Cleaned up best we can. Make sure to leave little fuzzies from this, you know, not the right type of rag to do this with, but I had close to me, so that's what we're using. Note that I'm not using this rag in here. Okay, obvious reasons. These fuckers leave little fuzzies all over shit. That's not the rag we're going to jam down inside those pots and clean them. We're just making the outside of this clean so that I can handle it. Okay. We don't need this pan. Just go ahead and drain this flammable stuff down the waste oil pan. I gotta stop over and see my buddy pretty soon here. He's got an automotive shop not too far from here, and he runs a waste oil heater to heat his shop. So he will kindly and gladly take any waste oil I give him because of his free energy, free heat for his garage in the winter. All right. You know what? We're not going to use this either. We're going to trade this out. Clean one I got here. Make sure there's no sawdust or nothing on it from the workbench. Look down inside there. You can see it as well as me. I don't see any dirt. And we don't see any of that white gorp. And the seals look to be in usable condition. These dust seals on the outside have seen their better days, but essentially that's what these are, is a dust seal. The important seal is this guy down inside here. Yeah, I got some dirt back here. I surely do. And I didn't see it until I turned it this angle in the light. Let's get that out of there. Okay. This is the most important part of the whole system, is inside these pots. Super clean. Okay. Well, we simply reassemble. It's pretty easy, actually. Let me go grab a little bit of fresh brake fluid for this. Okay. What we're going to do is just a little bit on the finger. Just going to lube this up a little bit so that it slides past the seal easy. Spin it as we push. There you go. It went right in by hand. Beautiful. That's what I want to see. It pressed in all the way. Good deal. Lube that up. Wipe a little bit around the seal while I'm at it. And then you go to reinstall. Just give it a little twist and push at the same time like this. And generally they'll generally go. And this guy isn't going to fight. But, you know, that's because he's hooked on this spring. There we go. There we go. All right, reassembly complete. What we're going to do at this point, the new master cylinder and brake pads will not be in until tomorrow. But being as this is going to sit out on the workbench until tomorrow, I'll go ahead and put the seals on the banjo bolt, which we're going to inspect that while we're in here. It's clean, free of debris. Down in here is clean, free of debris. We're just going to thread this in so that A, we don't lose it, and B, it'll help keep some of that dirt out. It's not going to, you'll still have a little bit of that hole exposed, but you ain't going to have dirt flying through there. What do we look like? You see, we're clean, but there's a wee bit of rust on it. Don't particularly like that. Well, you know what we're going to do? We ain't going to go crazy. We're just going to wipe it off and call it good. Because after all, it's just a bleeder. And it is perfectly reusable. It's not exactly the right bleeder. Looks like somebody's changed this out, probably because the first one was rounded. You can see somebody used pliers on this or vice grips because they boogered her up pretty good. I have seen 100 times worse, but this is not the factory Suzuki bleeder. This is one that actually just fit. So you can see where the rust starts. It only needs to go into here. I've never seen one stick out that much further than it needs to be. So somebody's been in here more than once. We're just going to thread you in. Okay. Now, what I want to do as well is, which one went where? This one goes here. What I want to do as well is throw these pads back in place, and you can see how they go. Okay, there's a spring there, and you kind of just got to give them like a force down in the spot like that. Okay, this one real easy. Okay, which side will switch? No, this side, this way. Yeah, okay. Over here, flip it in, take it over. Now, you're going to need a cotter pin for this, because there was not one in it. This is not a threaded pin. I am not sure I have anything that will really work for that. Go ahead and reinsert the pin. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my little straight pick. I'm just going to poke it in that hole for now. That way I know I can walk away from this. I can go do whatever I'm going to do for the rest of my day today. and I know that I need to get in there and put a cotter pin, because when I grab this, I'll think about, oh shit, what's that? Like I said in the beginning of this, most of these that I've dealt with, this pin is actually threaded down inside here, and there's a hex key inside here. This one is not. This one is just held with a pin. Sometimes you got to think on your feet when you're doing this stuff. Let me check. I'll put you guys up here so you can see across the room. And I got 15 of y'all watching. That's what's up. Let me go check in the toolbox. I just might have something that'll possibly go in there and work like a cotter pin. I don't think I do. Honestly, I really don't. But I do keep little miscellaneous pins and clips and springs and stuff like that. That way you can kind of make something work, because it's important, but it's important to have something in there to keep that from popping back out. It's not that important what it is. So a strong enough piece of wire will do the job. But I'd much prefer to have a cotter pin of some sort. Why we keep the junk drawers open and miscellaneous shit in the junk drawers. It's always something we can use. And that's a maybe. That's a definite maybe. Let's look in this. This is a general junk box where I keep all kind of miscellaneous stuff. Well, shit. I reckon that'd do the job if it wasn't so goddamn huge, huh? That's gonna cut it. I don't even know what the hell that's from.